Hello everyone. I think I'm live. It looks like I cut out and I think I came back on now. So welcome. Today I want to show you some fun little St. Patrick's Day projects that I've been working on. So I'm going to show you how to make these little shamrocks. That's going to be the focus for today. So I'll show you a couple different card ideas. I'll show you how to make this little treat bag. Or at least give you some instructions on it, and then show you two different ways that we can make the shamrocks. So one of the ways that we can make the shamrocks are with our stamps. So if you have some heart-shaped stamps, I'll show you how to make them with that. And then the other way that we can make shamrocks is with some punches, or in this case I used just a little heart-shaped framelit to cut out some different leaves for the shamrocks. So I'll show you how to make those. So first, I'm going to grab my supplies here. I'll pull these back down so you can kind of see them as I work. So the first thing we're going to do, I used Emerald Envy for the ink, but you can use any kind of green. I just thought this green was kind of nice and bright to make these little shamrocks. And then I used some hearts from the Heart Happiness stamp set to do this. So I have one of the small little hearts here on my block. And all you're going to do is ink up your heart stamp. And I'm going to test it first. So let me grab a piece of paper here, just a scratch piece of paper. I always want to test it because my photopolymers tend to pick up dirt. Okay, that looks pretty good. So as I was making these earlier, they picked up a little bit of dirt. So, okay, so I just have a little circle that I cut out with one of the stitched framelits. You can cut little circles out with your punches. If you have framelits, you can use them. But you're just going to stamp the heart on the top first. That's where I went. Just seemed to be easier to do that. And then I'm going to turn it to the side, and I'm going to try to overlap it a little bit. Punch the second one. Punch. Goodness, I'm stuck on punching. Stamp the second one. And then I'm going to turn it around and stamp the third one. There. Well, it's kind of a funny looking one, but it works. So then what I did is I just took my marker and I drew on the stem because I don't have any image that I can really use for the stem. So I just used the brush side, and let's see, I just kind of drew straight down. Let's just go like that. And, oh, I made the end a little bit big. And then try to, well, that's a funny looking stem. See, that's what happens when you do it live. Okay, so you get the idea. You draw the stem on there. And then I just added it to another circle that I had cut out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on here because I wanted, so this is Emerald Envy for the scallop circle that I have in the back. So I'm just going to put that on there. And then I took a couple, I have these little gold, what are they called? Gold faceted gems. And I just kind of put one in the center just to kind of cover up where everything met together. And that's it. So you can use, you know, I made a smaller shamrock here, but you can use, you know, a larger heart and make a larger one. But then I also cut some hearts out with my framelit, as I mentioned. And then I have a tree branch here. So for the punch, I really liked, I kind of had this idea that I would use my, this is the tree builder punch. So I just punched out the tree trunk here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim off these little branches, and that's how I'm going to get the stem for my shamrock. So we'll just trim these off the best we can. And like that. And then I think I might just cut off the top. Put that off to the side. And then all I'm going to do, again, I cut out another circle, so you can use whatever shape you want. I just chose to use a circle. So I'm going to put this little stem on there with a glue dot as soon as I find my glue dot. Hi, everybody. See, now while I'm putting a glue dot on, I can see who has joined me. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining me. Okay. So I have a little glue dot on the back of there, and I'm just going to put the stem on. And it's okay that this pops up. We'll cover it up. So then for the hearts, I'm just going to put a dimensional on the back. I probably could have used a smaller dimensional, but these will work just fine. So I'll put a dimensional on each of them. And then again, I'll start at the top. And I will put the heart on the top first. And then I will point the other two hearts towards the middle. See, I like the punches or the framelit shapes because they're so perfect compared to the stamping that I just did. Okay, so there you have your little shamrock. How easy is that? And then if you can leave it this way, or you can embellish it, with something in the center. I just put another one of those gold gems in the center, and that's it. And then we can add some tape to the back. Probably should have done this before I put the gem on it, but that's all right. It'll work. And I'm going to add it to my scallop circle. There. Excuse me. So now you can see the difference. I got a little off with my shamrock there. It looks a little crunched, but it'll work. And then this is the one with the framelit. So let me show you how to put together a couple different projects. So let's do this card first. So for this card, so again, everything I'm showing you today is are these little shamrocks. So for this card, all I did was cut a white card base. So this is your normal size card cut from a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So just cut it in half and then score it and you have your little card. And then I just cut out some designer paper. So this is some designer paper from, oh boy, gosh, I think this is from the Eastern Palace suite. And this piece is just cut so that it goes all the way across the card. So it's cut at 5.5 by 1.5. So I'm just gonna put this on there, right across the center. And you can use whatever paper you have on hand. You don't have to use necessarily the paper that I'm using. And then I just cut a little piece of gold glimmer paper, because you have to have gold with your St. Patrick's Day projects, right? So this is cut at 5.5 by, I think I cut this at 1/2. And then we're just going to add our little shamrock on there. So let me grab some dimensionals to do that. And that's it. Isn't that cute? So put that on there, and then I'm going to open up my card because I'm going to stamp the Oh Happy Day on there as soon as I find it. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to use my Emerald NV ink, and I'm just going to ink up the Oh Happy Day. And the Oh Happy Day came from, what stamp set? Thoughtful Banners. We don't really have anything St. Patrick's Day, so I thought the Oh Happy Day would be good. So there you have it. Simple. And it's cute. All right, so those are those two cards. And then I thought I'd show you something different. So for this, I made this this little treat bag just by cutting out a 4, let's see, this was 4 1/4 by 2, so it's 4 1/4. Just cut out a 4 1/4 by 2 piece of white paper. And then I stamped the Oh Happy Day on the bottom, except I embossed it in gold. So I thought I would do that ahead of time so that my embossing machine wouldn't make a loud noise, the heat gun. And then I just used my tag topper and slid this in to create the top part of the tag. So there's the tag. And then that little shamrock that I made is going to go right on the tag like that. So we can add that with a couple dimensionals. Put that on there. And the bag that I used is one of those gold striped bags. So I'm going to just add it kind of on an angle. But instead of doing the bag, I thought we could make a card that coordinates with this bag, right? So I have a piece of green, the Emerald Envy cardstock, just cut to the regular size. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one of these bags, and I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut the bag because I want to create a card that coordinates with my bag. So I'm starting, instead of cutting on this side, I'm going to cut on the smooth side. I'm going to put that in my paper trimmer. Just going to line it up at 4 1/4, and I'm just going to cut off this side of the bag, and then I'm going to flip it over and line it up at 4, and I'm going to cut off this side of the bag. So then we'll open it up, and I'm just going to cut off the bottom. So we'll just, don't cut directly on the fold line where the bag is, because I find that when I try to cut on a fold line, it typically shreds and doesn't work too well. So kind of line it up just a hair past that fold line. And then we'll cut the bottom of the bag off. And now I want this to fit my Emerald Envy cardstock. So remember, this is 5 1/2. This, going this direction is 5 1/2. So I want to cut this down to 5 1/4. I already cut it at 4. So now I'm going to cut this top part off and cut it down to 5 1/4. So now I have a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of the bag so that I can make a coordinating card to go with my bag. So let me grab my paper again. What I did for the bag is I just sponged some green ink in here. So let me grab my ink. You just use a regular little sliver of a sponge. I always like to blot my sponge off first, and then I just rub it on the bag. So I'm turning this white part green so it matches my card, or I'm sorry, so it matches my bag. I'm making the card. Goodness, maybe I need to go back to bed. This daylight savings is messing me up today. Okay. So there, and we got one more little section. Okay, I'll get rid of this paper again. So now I have my paper for my card, and now I can just add it right to my card front. So since the bag is a little bit thin, I only put tape like where the gold is. So that way you won't see the tape through the paper or bag. I keep wanting to call this paper. Okay, so let's put this on. So now you can, I like the idea of being able to use the bags to create a little gift bag and then create a card that coordinates with it. So we already stamped the little shamrock and made our little tag. Instead of tying a big bow on the top of my card, I'm just going to make a little bow. So I just cut some, this is some of that striped ribbon, Emerald Envy striped ribbon. So I'm just going to bring it through the top of my tag like that. Then I'm just going to use some of this tinsel. It's gold tinsel. And I'm going to tie this. I'm going to tie these two pieces together. So I can just hold this tight, pull it, okay? And then I'm going to take some gold sequins. This is just, these are little mini sequins, and I just cut a big strand, but I'm going to lay that right on the knot, and then I'm going to pick up these two pieces, and I'm going to tie it together. And that is going to hold my sequins in place. And then I'll have some nice decorative gold pieces that just kind of hang down over the tag. So I'm going to trim these up a little bit. I'm going to trim this off. Pretty short because we're putting it on a card, so I don't want these pieces extremely long. So I'll trim those off. And then I'm going to trim some of these off. And I'll trim the other side. There. And you can make them shorter if you want. And that's it. So now I'm just going to decorate up my card. And it's going to coordinate with my gift bag. Isn't that fun? I love that. I love making coordinating gift bags and cards. Alright, so let me put this on here. I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back of the tag. So I'm adding quite a few dimensionals. I guess I'm a little dimensional happy today, but I like to pop things up off of the card. Okay, so we'll put this on a little bit of an angle like that, and there you go. And we can trim this down, or you can just turn it to the side. Whatever you want to do, but there, now we have a coordinating bag, kind of. Oh, I forgot to add my little hearts. So let me do that. So you notice on the bag, I have a couple little hearts here, and a little stem. So we can stamp that right up at the top, hopefully. And you're just going to do the same thing to create the shamrock. And mine are overlapping a lot. There we go. And then I'm just going to take my marker and draw the stem. Maybe if I can steady my hand. Okay. And then you can add another one of those little gems. And now it coordinates. I could add another one there, but I think I'll just add one. And then we'll have two on the bag. So there you go. That's fun. Okay. So this is the coordinating bag and card idea. And then I already shared this card with you, so this was done with the framelits. So I'll put this one right next to it here. And then, what else do I have here? I did a couple other cards just to give you some ideas. So this card, I just used some squares that kind of layer together. So I used the stitched framelits, and then the layering squares. You can use, like I said, punches, squares, whatever shapes you want. All I did was cut a piece of paper that was 2.5 wide and then 5.5 long, and just put it right across the center of my cardstock. And then again, these were stamped images that I just embellished and drew on the stem. So that was a pretty easy one. And then this last one is just a kind of a quick and simple little card. If you have embossing folders that you like to use, this would be a fun card to do. I have some little half embossing folders, so I just used that, embossed the top, and then just stamped a little shamrock on the bottom. So those are my cards. I hope you enjoyed them. I had a lot of fun making them. So get out your heart stamps and get out your punches or your framelits and get busy making some St. Patrick's Day cards and treat bags. So I hope you enjoyed it. Everybody have a fabulous day, and I will be back on again soon. Bye-bye.